Hi guys, and welcome to this video on the new moon in Aquarius that happens on the 9th of February 2024. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. This is my third day in a row that I've visited this park. I came here on Sunday to film the weekly horoscope, and I picked this exact spot under the trees because it was super windy. But you guys let me know in the comments that the sound was fine, so thank you for that. I came back yesterday because it was sunny and gorgeous, but it was really blowing a gale, so yesterday was out, and I'm back again today. It's less windy than it was even on Sunday, but just to be on the safe side, I've sat under the trees again, so keep your fingers crossed for me that this works. I'm based in Central Europe, so I base my horoscopes on Central European time. This new moon in Aquarius, it happens at 23:58, so 11:58 in the evening, 2 minutes before midnight. If you're west of Europe, in North or South America, it happens earlier in the evening on the 9th of February. If you're east of Europe, in Asia, Australia, New Zealand, it happens early in the morning on the 10th of February. 2024. So the chart you see next to me here, that's a snapshot of the sky at the moment this new moon will take place. I'm going to analyze this chart to see what energy the planets create amongst themselves and how that's going to influence us. And then I'll go through each sign of the zodiac from Aries through to Pisces to give you an idea of what specific area of your life this new moon energy is likely to show up in. Okay, so the basics. A new moon is when the moon is pitch black, and symbolically this is a time where I feel the moon takes a bit of a time out. It says, do you know what, before I rush off on my next 28-day cycle, I want to get my bearings a little bit, I want to recharge, I want to review what I've done, what's worked, what hasn't, what has brought me joy, what hasn't, and I really want to set goals and intentions for how am I going to use my time and energy in future, what's important to me right now, and what is important to me over the next 28 days, and what do I want to manifest. I always mention this, but a new moon and a full moon, as far as I'm concerned, it's not just something that happens at 1 minute and then it's gone, right? I think both of those are 3-day events, so I think you'll feel this on the 8th, 9th, and 10th of February, maybe even a little bit on the 11th if you're further east. The sun in your natal chart represents what you're striving towards. It's your head, it's who you want to be when you grow up. The moon is your heart, it's your feelings. It's what's happening internally, and a new moon is when those two luminaries, they conjunct. So they're both at 20 degrees, they blend their energies together, and it's a wonderful moment because your heart and your head are now sitting together and they're talking to each other. So if you've been unclear of what you've been feeling, you'll get understanding around that. If your actions have been a little vague, or you've been a little scattered, or you don't really know what has worked well or what hasn't, you'll get an understanding around these different areas of your life by the way you feel. So make sure you check in with yourself. The answers come via your feelings. Not only that, they're both at 20 degrees. 20 in numerology reduces to 2, and 2 is about cooperation and relationship. So not only do we have the sun and the moon, your head and your heart, talking to each other beautifully because of their proximity, at 20 degrees, it's even stronger. So this is an opportunity to get clear on where you're at, and really again to reorient yourself and to say, this is who I am in truth, I know myself, and how do I want to use my energy moving forward. But then it gets even better because this is a new moon in Aquarius, and Aquarius, even though it's known as the water bearer, is an air sign. So it's in the element of air. That has to do with communication, perspective, decision-making process, your thinking, your learning, your communication. And it's all about the intellect, right? I don't know why I'm hesitating, but Aquarius is also associated with the humanitarian and the teacher, the person who uses ideas and communication and the ability to get a point across in order to educate others around them. And because this is a new moon in Aquarius, what I feel is that you become a teacher to yourself. And what I mean by that is that you have such a great understanding of what you're feeling and what you're striving towards, and at the same time you have this wonderful overview of your life and the information that you already have access to, and the information you would like to acquire. you can really provide almost spiritual guidance to yourself, as in, this is who you are, I'm the teacher, I'm educating you on that, and this is what's going to work for you and what isn't. So if, for instance, if you notice that certain things in your life happen over and over and over again, this is the kind of energy that allows you to see your part in that and what you can do to change it. So it's the humanitarian and the teacher in a very patient, loving way that passes on information to you, both through your feelings and your head, that says, this is why certain things are the way they are, and these are the other opportunities that would work for you. It's kind of like someone wise and experienced taking you under their wing and saying, here we go, this is likely to work for you, why don't you try it out? And you're able to do that for yourself. The new moon then forms certain relationships with other things in the chart. So the first thing I notice is this blue dotted line, which is a sextile. It means that the new moon in Aquarius is 60 degrees away from the north node in Aries at 18 degrees. It's that hoop kind of symbol. So if I'm looking at your natal chart, the south node and the north node, they're very important because it shows me where you're coming from on a spiritual level and the direction you're moving into. And it kind of reveals a huge part of your life purpose. And the north node in Aries is moving you to a place of strength, independence, and confidence. So this educating role of the new moon in Aquarius is all about saying, do you know what, if you want to change your life, you have every opportunity. You're a free person. Whatever occurs to you, you can take action based on those ideas independently, and you can make it happen for yourself. You don't need anyone else's permission. You certainly don't need anyone else's support. If you want something to happen, some things in life have to be done solo. Okay, just a weird example. If your dream is to be a tour guide at the Eiffel Tower and you want to dress up in a clown suit while you're doing that, then that's a very particular dream that no one can reveal but you. And then no one can action that dream because it's very unlikely that other people have thought of that. So it really is down to you, unless you're kind of explaining everything to your friends and people in your life, but then you run the risk of someone hijacking that idea. So you see, sometimes it's appropriate to be completely self-absorbed. I know something about that. And to say, this is my dream, and the only person who's gonna make that happen or can make it happen is me. And I have all the strength and freedom in the world to implement my hopes and dreams. And this is about striving towards that place of inner confidence. At 18 degrees, 1 and 8 is 9. And 9 in numerology is spirituality and completion. And in the tarot, it's the hermit. This man who's got his lantern and who's walking around in this kind of brown cloak. And the mission he's on is to try and find a moment of enlightenment, clarity. He wants to understand who he is, what his life is about, why certain things happen the way they do, and what he can do about it. And he does that on his own. He's never painted as someone sitting around a dinner table having a laugh and a chat. So the North Node at 18 degrees in Aries, this is an opportunity to have a moment of enlightenment that says, actually, I have a lot more control over what happens in my life than I realized or that I give myself credit for. And with all of that power, I've got the new moon, this patient, generous teacher. How can I learn from the things I've done for myself in the past and either repeat them if they're good or avoid them if not so much? And how can I grow and expand and ultimately live the kind of life that I want and be the kind of person in that life that I want? So these are big questions, right? This is like, what's my identity? Who do I want to be? We then have the new moon forming a square with Uranus at 19 degrees in Taurus. That's the red line. And where the sextile is connecting two things, it's almost like a conjunction in they blend their energies together harmoniously. These red lines, so the square is 90 degrees away from Uranus. The moon and Uranus are 90 degrees away from each other. It's more about friction, so they're kind of working against each other at times. And Uranus at 19 degrees in Taurus means that your life is going to continue on whether you're having some epiphany or not. But the opportunity is there to learn from certain things that are happening in your life and to let those teach you and then to make decisions around them. So for instance, if you're working in I don't know, some sort of a company, right? And you have a colleague who you don't get on with very well. And every once in a while, this colleague throws a file onto your desk. They know it stresses you out, they know it adds extra work, but they do it because the two of you don't get on well, right? It's likely, with the miraculous and unexpected of Uranus in Taurus in a practical way, to strike again. And it doesn't necessarily have to be something negative, it can also be something positive, but it's something that's unpredictable and that you can't schedule in, is likely to occur. And so again, let's go back to that example with the file being thrown on your desk, right? That happens, you get to make the decision, do I want this to continue? Do I want to have this experience again? And it's just that thought then that opens up all these choices. You can then either have a conversation with that colleague, you can make a complaint, you can ask to be moved, you can quit. You have a lot of other options. And that's what this new moon in Aquarius is about. It reveals your independence and your strength, and then asks, what do you want to do with all of this? Uranus at 19 degrees in Taurus. Yeah, the other thing that teaches you, I feel, is you become very observant and you see certain things happening and you get to decide, do I want to create something like that for myself? You're very observant about the kind of patterns and rhythms in life and perceiving the hidden actions behind those things. What do I mean by that? So, okay, if your dream is to live in a lovely house in the country, right? And you're driving around one day and you're looking at all these houses and you're like, oh, amazing. You're looking at the people in the gardens or moving about in their houses. It doesn't tell you how the people got to be in that position. Did they inherit the house? Did they buy it themselves 40 years ago and have a mortgage? The amazing thing here is you'll get a sense of what the action steps are, or what actions are required for you to emulate something like that, or for you to manifest the dream. So I think it's a really good opportunity to have a moment with yourself and to write down, what are my hopes and dreams for life? Who do I want to be? And what immediately that will stem then from that are the solutions as to what you have to do, or what you choose to do, in order to make that a reality. And it makes it crystal clear that nothing is impossible for you. It's amazing. What else? Let's see. We've got an opposition with the midheaven in Leo at 18 degrees. That's interesting because again, it's 18, 1 and 8 is 9, same as the North Node in Aries. So there's a sense of a light bulb going off, a moment of epiphany, of clarity. But Leo is on the opposite side of the chart. Aquarius and Leo are on the same axis and oppose each other. Aquarius again is the humanitarian and teaching for the greater good. It's very selfless. Leo is about connecting with the public, but being a leader, being someone who's influential or entertaining, someone in the spotlight, right? And here, with this being the midheaven, if I'm looking at your natal chart, the midheaven is very revealing when it comes to your aptitudes in career and work, because the thinking is that at noon, you're productive. And whatever your midheaven is, you'll have an affinity for those things. And Leo really is the leader, the person who can motivate and inspire people. And at 18 degrees in Leo, I don't think in this case it's so much about your work. This is the confidence to say, actually, this dream isn't so laughable. I can actually make this happen. It's going to require some steps, but I can do this if I want. And that then is, am I going to do the work? So what's revealed, and I don't know if I'm expressing this so well, the thing about Leo is the confidence and the influence and the charisma. It's ruled by the sun, so it's power, it's who I want to be, right? It's almost like this moment of enlightenment for you is seeing yourself as you could be. And it's realistic. It's not just a dream. So, no, I don't want to. Okay, then what we've got, and then we've also got, obviously, if we've got the midheaven in Leo at 18 degrees, then on the other side we have the IC. That is your roots, it's your home, and it's what makes you feel rooted and like you belong. And that's at 18 degrees in Aquarius. So basically you find your root, the thing that's the strength within you and everything that goes with that. These are my hopes and dreams for my life and my world as it could be. So if you've been through, seriously now, if you've been through the mill, if you've had really difficult things happen that have made you lose faith in life, like for me, for some reason, certain things just never happen. You know that kind of thing when you've had years of disappointment and you start to kind of feel, well, this is just, I guess, my lot. This is the way it's always going to have to be. This is an opportunity to reclaim your hope and faith in your life and in yourself and in the process of living and all these amazing things that could happen. Because it's important to tap into that once in a while, because it's your power that grows that and makes it real. So you've got to be at times a dreamer, and you've got to see yourself in an idealized way. It's motivating, it encourages you to continue on and to overcome those difficulties, that there's light at the end of the tunnel. We then have the new moon forming a trine with the south node in Libra at 18 degrees. So you're able to connect with yourself, you're able to communicate very well, you're able to express yourself, but I really think that this is something that is all this enlightenment, understanding about who you are and what's important. It comes from within. So if you're around a lot of people, then I don't expect there to be any kind of major conflict here. But I also don't think that other people are required to reveal some sort of truth to you. I think you do all of that work by yourself. So as far as your relationships are concerned, I don't see that there's anything untoward here. But if you're looking for someone to kind of give you the solution, it's unlikely to happen. Do we have anything else? Let me have a look. So we've got the trine, then we've got the opposition, we've got the square, we've got the sextile. Yeah, so those are the relationships the moon forms. I'm just going to look at the wheel at the center and tilt my head a bit to see any major aspect patterns. And we've got a big one. We've got a mystic rectangle. A mystic rectangle is two trines which are parallel to each other, and then on either side two sextiles, and they create this big blue rectangle. And a mystic rectangle is really what its name says. It's this almost mystical ability to have a connection to the higher realms. We've got the hermit showing up twice by the midheaven at 18 degrees and the north node at 18 degrees. So I really think it's the universe kind of giving you the opportunity. It's like, hello, wake up to your life and what you're doing and why certain things happen and how able you are to change all of that. It's like this big loving hand reaches down to teach you something useful. So be willing to learn and to listen via yourself, what occurs to you, what you feel. Let's see if there's anything else. We've got a T-square that's formed via the opposition of the new moon in Aquarius with the midheaven in Leo, excuse me. The midheaven in Leo has that opposition, then it squares Uranus and Taurus, and it's Uranus and Taurus squares the new moon in Aquarius. So I've talked about the connection with Uranus, but I didn't notice that it also reaches up to the midheaven, and a T-square is an area of unresolved friction. So, do I live in the moment and do I just go about my business and try and have a good time? Or do I pay attention to events that are happening in my life and do I assign them with deeper meaning? So again, with that example with the file being thrown on the table, that can just be something that happens every few weeks. Or it can be a really significant moment that says, I'm not going to work in this office anymore. It's your choice, you see, and only by paying attention, you'll be able to make good decisions for yourself, for your future. Anything else? I just want to make sure I don't miss anything here. No, we've got that. I'm looking for a Grand Cross, but there isn't one. There aren't any yods. No. I think that's it. Okay, so I'm going to go through each sign of the zodiac now, from Aries to Pisces. And what's interesting is because this is a new moon, it's a moment to plant seeds of intention. And I've been talking so much about this opportunity to really learn from yourself and to teach yourself. it's interesting because the messages for each one of the zodiac signs have come across as kind of questions. So first one, Aries, during this new moon in Aquarius, ask yourself, how can you achieve your hopes and dreams when it comes to the areas of career, work, and income, specifically those areas of your life? Taurus, what else can I study so that I can make an expert contribution in life? And that then is particularly true if one of your hopes and dreams is to be an expert in a particular field. What do I study to get there? Gemini, who has the right information and how can I learn from them? So that's a trap, because what I said in the overall thing, that other people aren't going to offer you the solutions on silver platters. Gemini, you may have the most problems this week, or not this week, around the time of this new moon. You may not want to do the work and you may expect other people to give you the answer. Be clear on that and do the inner work to teach yourself and to find the answers within. Cancer, how can I connect with people and groups of people to bring ongoing support into my life? So how can I put support networks and structures in place so that I have more contact and more support via other people moving forward, right? Leo, how can I surround myself with people and connect with places and things that make me feel valued? So the dream for you is, how can I do things that make life very rich in the amount of people that are in it, the freedom I have to visit different places, the objects I have access to. It's really about how can I become bigger in life. Virgo, how can I work at what I love in a different way in order to get into the life position that I want to be in? So what is that then? What position do you want to be in, and what changes can you make to your work to accomplish that? So both Virgo and Aries very focused on work. Libra, how can I use all the support that I have in my life already to realize my hopes and dreams? So how can I delegate and use the people who love me to get me what I want? Scorpio, how can I take my ability to connect and talk with pretty much anybody to get into a generally better position in life? So that's kind of influential in a way. Sagittarius, excuse me. What can I learn that will allow me to create more security in life? So it's not what can I learn to be an expert like Taurus. This is about what can I learn that I can use and implement that's then going to pay off insecurities in actuals that I can touch and feel and live in if it's a house. Capricorn, what do I love and how can I teach others about this and share the love I have for this thing or activity or career? Aquarius, how can I bottle this sense of contentment? You're going to have a great time here. Look at the different areas of your life that work well already right now, and what can you do to ensure this continues? Pisces, how can I express something important and share it with as many people as possible? What format, what modality am I going to choose to make that a reality? So that's what I get. I hope that gives you an idea of what you'll be working with here during this period of the new moon in Aquarius, so the 8th, 9th, 10th of February. If you would like me to draw up your birth chart in a personal reading, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, then please order a chart rectification with me. That's a process where you send me 10 or more life events and I can actually manually work out your time of birth. And that's important because the chart changes every 4 minutes. So the more accurate the time, the better. Once I have your birth chart, it's a wheel just like this one, and I can analyze it about your default setting, what you're striving towards, relationships, talent when it comes to work, what changes you could make, friendships, anything at all really. So if you want to understand yourself better, or if you're going through a period of transition and you want to see when it's best to make certain changes, when to hold back, I look at the progress chart and the transits for that. They show me what's coming up in future. And if you even have questions around specific locations on planet Earth, you know, Berlin, Tokyo, Cape Town, the astrocartography shows me, based on your chart, how those locations are going to influence you specifically. So if you're interested in any of that, then please do get in touch with me for a personal reading. Check out some of my other videos. I made a single video for each sign of the zodiac for the horoscopes for February. Check that out. It's a new format I tried out for the first time. So the horoscopes for each sign of the zodiac for February is out now. I do a daily tarot reading on my channel, so if you want to see those, please become a member of my channel. And that's it. I hope you have a wonderful time, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best. Take care.